What's going on, guys? Arekkz here. Welcome back to another video from Monster Hunter World Iceborne, and this time we're talking about the Clutch Claw. I mentioned today there were loads of different videos that dropped, and each of them, although they're only short, they contain so much interesting information that I wanted to kind of take the time to talk about them separately. And in this video, we're focusing on one of the new gameplay systems the Clutch Claw introduced in Iceborne. This is a repurposing, not really a repurposing, more like a secondary feature of the slinger. You still have the slinger, it's ever present in everything you do. In fact, it's even more important in Iceborne because you can now fire slinger ammo in between attacks. As we've seen in some of the weapon videos, you can, interrupt them. Every single weapon can use their slinger with the weapon drawn. However, the Clutch Claw allows the slinger to then turn into a claw, which you can grapple onto the monster, and it's more than just a grapple. It's more than just an opening for getting slinger ammo. There actually appears to be quite a few interesting mechanics here. So let's go over what we need to know. Of course, if you guys do enjoy this, then a like would be super appreciated. And also don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our future Monster Hunter content. There's going to be a lot of stuff and you are not going to want to miss it. Now, starting off with the kind of broad mention of it, of course, as we've seen before, you can then aim the slinger and you can grapple onto the monster, and it seems to have relatively decent range. I'm not entirely sure how far you can do this, but the range is still pretty substantial. And then once you get closer to the monster, you then have a couple of available options. Now, every single weapon will have some kind of move they can perform off the back of a Clutch Claw grapple, and then in doing this, you can basically farm slinger ammo from the monster. So, in the case of the Sword and Shield, it looks like this. We've seen it from the Longsword video. It looks kind of like this. And of course, in the Greatsword video, it also looks like this. It will, of course, look different for every weapon, but the underlying function is that this is a move you can use to not only do damage, but also to grab that all-important slinger ammo, because that's going to be integral to a lot of stuff that you do. However, it is also worth mentioning that the video specifically calls out that there's more to the grapple than just like a fancy, stylish way of fighting. Apparently, it actually softens up the monster hide. Now, this is one of those kind of things that initially sounded more like a marketing spiel, just like, go in there, climb on the monster, soften up their hide, and go and do some damage. But the way they actually phrase it is more specifically that it actually impacts your damage. They say that if you go and grapple onto the monster, and you then use one of these attacks to soften up its hide, farm some slinger ammo, they then said that subsequent attacks in that same location will actually do more damage. So this is going to be a huge game changer. This is going to drastically change the way we play the game, because if there's actually a mechanic whereby you can grapple onto them, you can weaken them, effectively creating a weak spot on the monster, and you can then follow up with subsequent attacks. If you then factor this into team play, the damage output could be incredible. Take something like the Greatsword. If you can then go and soften up a monster hide and then go and follow up with a hefty charge, that's going to be pretty insane. However, that's not the only thing. They also mentioned that whilst you are on the monster, you can, to a degree, influence sort of the way that it faces, the way that it kind of moves a little bit. So it's almost like you're rodeoing the monster. It doesn't mean to say you're going to be riding the monster around the map, but it does also hint that you can potentially use that to alter the kind of direction they're facing. And more specifically, whilst you're on the monster, instead of just attacking them, you can also fire off your slinger ammo, and you can use this to then send the monster really into the environment and, send them crashing into a door like we see in this video. There's also one segment in the original trailer where we saw kind of Anjanath basically get grappled and kicked off the ledge in the ancient forest, so that appears to be the same functionality. So when you factor that into, levels that have got environmental traps or things that you can mess around with, or let's say you do this in the arena and you can then run them into the wall and then use the Dragonator, ooh, that's gonna be pretty insane. But yeah, Clutch Claw is shaping up to be pretty awesome. However, there is something worth mentioning, because I appreciate when you see this, you might think, well, is that not just going to make the game super easy? Am I not going to grapple onto everything? And one of the things that actually came out from the Japanese Twitter account this morning was that you can't do this to monsters if they are in rage mode. So there is still like a balancing mechanic to it. You can't just suddenly grapple on things 24/7. I would imagine it probably uses things like your stamina. So there's probably some kind of resource that is going to stop you from doing it all the time, but it is still going to be a really cool way to get some crazy stylish attacks, some crazy stylish combos, and potentially create some rather interesting weak spot openings. So I cannot wait to mess around with this. I cannot wait to try this out. It for sure is going to be something that I'm going to be having a lot of fun with. And of course, as mentioned, I'm going to be going over to E3. So I'm going to go and try and go hands-on with the game and get you guys as much information as possible. So stick around. If you want to know about Iceborne, you're in the right place. I really hope you guys enjoyed that video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and also click on the little bell icon to turn on notifications so you don't miss my next upload. Also, don't forget, you can check out 269 and Paradise Central streaming over on Twitch 6 days a week. You can find a link to the multi-stream in the description box down below. Be sure to drop by and get involved. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.